Georges County Police are looking for the person who shot and killed an 8-year-old boy last night. This happened at an apartment building on Brightseat Road in Landover. Our Maryland Bureau Chief Brad Bell is live there now with the latest on the search for the gunman. Brad, what do we know?
Yeah, sadly, an all too familiar scenario of late in our area. What we know is last night, little after 8 o'clock, somebody pulled up in front of this apartment building in a white sedan, got out and opened fire. Neighbors telling me they heard about 6 shots, and as I look at this building, I can see a few of the bullet holes. And what we know is a little boy was in one of these apartments. He was playing video games when he was shot and killed. Now we can show you some pictures and some video. We know a little bit about this boy now. We're told his name is PJ, and we've talked to some former youth football coaches and family friends telling us that he was just a really sweet little boy who loved nothing more than playing youth football, riding his little ATV and talking about his shoes. I talked to a woman who drove him to school every day, she said, and said he was just a ray of sunshine, just loved talking to this boy. She was heartbroken, in tears out here, tears streaming down her cheeks when she came by to see what had happened. As far as the investigation goes, my sources telling me they believe that this was a targeted shooting, but the boy wasn't the target, that whoever the gunman was came here trying to get somebody, but this was just a completely innocent victim. His family, his apartment had nothing to do with anything. We expect to hear from the chief of police a little bit later on this afternoon. I've seen homicide detectives out here in the community driving around. We know they're working this case hard, but at this point, they do not have any suspects. I'm working on this story, and we'll have much more later on. In Landover, Brad Bell, 7 News.
Now to some of the problems plaguing Baltimore City streets. From grime to crime, we are demanding answers about what leaders are doing to save the city. We have live team coverage tonight, starting with Jeff Abel, where one community's frustrations with City Hall are growing louder. Jeff?
Well, for months now, residents in Highlandtown have watched as drugs and violence have consumed the community. Well, tonight, they're turning up the volume on this city in crisis.
On the block where 15-year-old Josie Patilla lost his life, neighbors tonight gathered to fight.
It chills me to the core. These are my neighbors that are getting killed.
Many neighbors who are normally too scared to walk alone walk together through Highlandtown. The community has lost 6 people to violence this year, and they are struggling to find ways to stop it.
The problem is when there aren't consequences for people who are breaking the laws and acting violently, then it's really hard to then, offer some other option for those people.
Arch McCowan helped organize this walk and is weighing on city leaders to do more. In the Baltimore Sun this morning, Mayor Brandon Scott laid out his plan to build a safer Baltimore for our children. He calls it a multi-year strategy, focusing on a public health approach to violence, community engagement, and interagency coordination, evaluation, and accountability. In Highlandtown,
I fear for my safety.
Residents have little time to wait.
It's fine to stand out here and talk in platitudes about the need for healing and the need for trauma-informed care. I mean, I get all that, but you also need to be able to identify bad actors.
A block away where Patillo was shot dead last week, neighbors stopped at the scene where another resident was shot dead earlier this year. For residents here, the clock is ticking. For a community now walking in fear.
It's literally something other than nothing at all.
For that 15-year-old who was shot dead there in Highlandtown last week, tonight, still no arrest. We're live. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
Taking a closer look tonight at illegal dumping in the city and the fine that seems not to be stopping culprits from doing their dirty work. Keith Daniels joins us with our report triggered by a tweet from a city councilman. Keith?
Well, Mary, the penalty for illegal dumping in Baltimore City recently doubled, going from $500 to $1,000 for first-time offenders. But tonight, despite the increase, the illegal dumpers keep on dumping. Charlene Noble gets very passionate when talking trash.
I just don't like to see people dumping their anywhere.
Outspoken, frustrated.
Pick up the phone. You want somebody to come and get your Just tell them come and get it.
A homeowner on North Calhoun Street for more than 20 years in West Baltimore. Nobles is angered by the illegal dumping that she says happens routinely in her neighborhood.
They just dump it anywhere, all up and down the street, from the corner street store. They dump that alley over there on that lot.
Today on that lot, we found a pile of debris, including old floor carpeting, a busted TV, and broken furniture. The issue of illegal dumping in the city reignited now after a tweet today from City Councilman James Torrance, who says he caught some people illegally dumping in his district.
Throwing debris and construction materials off of the truck.
He confronted them, snapped their picture, called the police. The men now facing charges and a $1,000 fine.
The only way that we're going to end illegal dumping in some of our neighborhoods, we have to make sure people are accountable.
They hold you accountable too, right, Councilman? What do you say about that?
That's why I work with my colleagues to increase the fine. And I'm working right now with housing and as well as DPW to make sure that we have persons who are taking out permits to do demolition or repairs in their homes, that they tell us where the proof of disposal is. Tell us where you dumped it.
Tonight, the proof in recent data shows that fines aren't deterring illegal dumpers. From January through June 28, 2021, there were more than 29,000 requests made by city residents for dirty alleys, streets to be cleaned, as well as reports of illegal dumping. That's 159 requests made every single day, and about one request made every 9 minutes. Calls for help from people like Nobles.
They just dump their mess anywhere.
Well, the city says they have cameras, surveillance cameras in some hot spots, but they're encouraging residents to help in this fight. They say, residents, if you see something, say something. That is, get the offender's license plate number and call 311. We're live tonight. Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.